Early one evening, me and Evan had a notification that southbound 265 was on its way from Oneonta. It had three engines, one SD60, an SD78, and an AC44C6M, running elephant style, which means no engines are facing backwards. 265 is bound for Chicago out of Ayer, Massachusetts. On its way to Chicago, the 265 will work 3 different locations, but serves 4. What? Well, first, it works Mechanicsville Yard, where it picks up double stacks and sometimes trash. And then it works Binghamton. But here's the thing with Binghamton. Double stacks get dropped off in Binghamton, and then, on a separate job, they go down to Taylor, Pennsylvania, on a different local. And then the train works Buffalo, and then it's on to Chicago. Later that night, a familiar face came up on 16R. Yes, the Pennsylvania Railroad Heritage Unit was on 16R once again, bound for Ayer, Massachusetts with its manifest loads, in its beautiful Tuscan red livery. 8102 is one of 20 Norfolk Southern Heritage units that represents the company's path. The Pennsylvania Railroad was one of the most famous railroad companies at the time when it was running, but it had an arch nemesis, the New York Central. So when it came to 1968, everybody was shocked when they heard Pennsylvania and New York Central would be merging to create Penn Central. However, an even bigger shocker was when the company only lasted 8 years. Due to bankruptcy, Penn Central fell in 1976. That's when the government stepped in and created Conrail. Conrail would last from 1976 to 1998, and then Conrail themselves was split apart between CSX and Norfolk Southern. Hence, how the Pennsylvania Railroad is one of Norfolk Southern's predecessors. Norfolk Southern also has heritage units for the New York Central, Penn Central, and Conrail. The next day, a not so exciting 16R came up, the typical SD60E and 2 -9s. However, these -9s are serving out their final days before being rebuilt into AC44C6Ms. PEMSY's -9 series is one of the most reliable locomotive series ever to be built. However, just like all machinery, they get old and wear out. Rather than scrapping all the -9s and making them obsolete, Norfolk Southern is rebuilding their -9s with new electronics, new cabs, and new traction motors, changing the DC traction motors to AC traction. AC traction motors are better with adhesion, starting big trains, and they're easier for maintenance, meaning the maintenance guys love these things. There are other rebuild programs that have brought DC locomotives to AC standards. The SD70 ACCs rebuilt from EMD's SD70s. The SD70 ACU rebuilt from EMD's SD90 Max, which the SD90 Max were a failure, so they brought them to be modernized. Now they work just fine. It's also cheaper to rebuild engines than rather to buy new ones.
That's a screecher. That's why I said Jesus.
On another subject, the Pennsy wasn't the only heritage unit on the line. If you look very closely, you can see NS 8114, the original Norfolk Southern heritage unit. We didn't get 8114 in the shot I wanted, but we did get this 265. Today's 265 has trash on its head end bound for Michigan. And the last up is an SD60 and two AC44 C6Ms, aka two modernized -9s. The next train to come up the D&H is not a regular train. No, it's a northbound Herzog ballast train. This is NS train 94Z. I'm not sure where this Herzog ballast train was bound for. All I know is that it looks pretty cool and it's loaded with ballast. It has two AC44 C6Ms for power. Once again, modernized -9s. The next train was a blast from the past. Not only did we have our normal Norfolk Southern power, but we had GECX-8, former CSX-8s. The 7743 is kind of famous as it was in Danny Harmon's 1997 film called Juice Train, where he rode the Juice Train on its first legs of its journey and he rode in the cab. To give you a look at what this locomotive or locomotives looked like, here's a picture taken by Brian Woodruff in Florida. Nowadays, they've either been repainted and patched and are now heading north. Once again, I have no idea where the Dash 8s are bound for, but it was cool seeing these 5 Dash 8s on their way up. Normally when a Dash 8 comes through here, it's a Pan Am Dash 8. Ironically enough, most of them are former CSX Dash 8s. These 5 are also former CSX Dash 8s.
I'm pretty sure these people didn't enjoy it like I did. Bainbridge Guilford, I believe varsity soccer. Boys.
Yes, I'm pretty sure the soccer team didn't enjoy watching the train like I did. They were probably tired and wanted to go home. Next up was southbound train 30T the following night. 30T had the typical NS power, 2 ES44 DCs and a Dash 9 in the middle. Our last train of the video was the 16R led up by the NS 6957. (6957) is one of the more interesting locomotives on the D&H, as its horn can jobble between 2 different notes. It can go really high or it can go really low. This is because a bell is on and off when it's working. Sometimes the bell's working and sometimes it's not. In this shot in particular, the bell was not working. A lot of my older footage of the 6957, you can hear when the bell's working and when it's not in the same video. But what will work is me stopping the video right here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around the bend. God bless. We'll catch you next time.